Hey everyone, it's Sophie. I hope you guys have been having a wonderful week so far and that you've been enjoying yourselves even though it's been kind of rainy these past few days. I'm here with the Busy Summer Bookworm Club's second book of the week. And this week I've chosen to read Corduroy by Don Freeman. This book is just a really sweet, heartwarming book about friendship. And if you guys have this book at home, I highly encourage you to read along or look at the pictures. I remember my parents reading this to me as a bedtime story. So it's just a really, really good classic children's book. And I hope you enjoy listening to me read Corduroy. Corduroy is a bear who once lived in the toy department of a big store. Day after day, he waited with all the other animals and dolls for somebody to come along and take him home. The store was always filled with shoppers buying all sorts of things, but no one ever seemed to want a small bear in green overalls. Then one morning a little girl stopped and looked straight into Corduroy's bright eyes. "Oh, Mommy," she said, "look, there's the very bear I've always wanted." "Not today, dear," her mother sighed. "I've spent too much already. Besides, he doesn't look new. He's lost the button to one of his shoulder straps." Corduroy watched them sadly as they walked away. "I didn't know I'd lost a button," he said to himself. "Tonight I'll go and see if I can find it." Late that evening, when all the shoppers had gone and the doors were shut and locked, Corduroy climbed carefully down from his shelf and began searching everywhere on the floor for his lost button. Suddenly, he felt the floor moving under him. Quite by accident, he had stepped onto an escalator, and up he went. Could this be a mountain, he wondered? I think I've always wanted to climb a mountain. He stepped off the escalator as it reached the next floor, and there, before his eyes, was the most amazing sight. Tables and chairs and lamps and sofas and rows of beds. "This must be a palace," Corduroy gasped. "I guess I've always wanted to live in a palace." He wandered around admiring the furniture. "This must be a bed," he said. "I've always wanted to sleep in a bed." And up he crawled onto a large, thick mattress. All at once he saw something small and round. "Why, here's my button!" he cried, and he tried to pick it up. But like all the other buttons on the mattress, it was tied down tight. He yanked and pulled with both paws until pop! Off came the button, and off the mattress Corduroy toppled, bang, into a tall floor lamp. Over it fell with a crash. Corduroy didn't know it, but there was someone else awake in the store. The night watchman was going his rounds on the floor above. When he heard the crash, he came dashing down the escalator. "Now who in the world did that?" he exclaimed. "Somebody must be hiding around here." He flashed his light under and over sofas and beds until he came to the biggest bed of all, and there he saw two fuzzy brown ears sticking up from under the cover. "Hello," he said. "How did you get upstairs?" The watchman tucked Corduroy under his arm and carried him down the escalator, and set him on the shelf in the toy department with the other animals and dolls. Corduroy was just waking up when the first customers came into the store in the morning. And there, looking at him with a wide, warm smile, was the same little girl he'd seen only the day before. "I'm Lisa," she said, "and you're going to be my very own bear. Last night I counted what I saved in my piggy bank, and my mother said I could bring you home." "Shall I put him in a box for you?" the saleslady asked. "Oh, no, thank you," Lisa answered, and she carried Corduroy home in her arms. She ran all the way up 4 flights of stairs into her family's apartment and straight into her own room. Corduroy blinked. There was a chair and a chest of drawers, and alongside a girl-sized bed stood a little bed just the right size for him. The room was small, nothing like that enormous palace in the department store. "This must be home," he said. "I know I've always wanted a home." Lisa sat down with Corduroy on her lap and began to sew a button on his overalls. "I like you the way you are," she said, "but you'll be more comfortable with your shoulder strap fastened." "You must be a friend," said Corduroy. "I've always wanted a friend." "Me too," said Lisa, and gave him a big hug. Okay, so that's the end of the story. I hope you guys love that book as much as I do. And stick around in this video to learn how to make a button ornament for your Christmas tree. But have a wonderful day, you guys, and I hope you enjoy making the craft. Thanks! Okay, so for today's craft, you're going to need a half sheet of cardstock paper. You can also use cardboard, computer paper, construction paper, any paper that you might have. Any marker colors of your choice. It can be any number of markers. You can also use crayons, colored pencils, anything that will show up on the paper medium that you were using. You'll need a pair of scissors. If your parents are not comfortable with you using scissors on your own, make sure that you have help with that. You're going to need a sharpened pencil and 2 1-foot long strings. They can be same color, different colors. I chose different colors. I'm going to be using this string to tie the knot to hang it around the tree, and this string is going to be used to make it like sew around the middle to make it look like it has been sewn. Okay, so now I'm going to walk you guys through making this wonderful craft. So I have all of my materials right here. I also suggest maybe having something that's round. I have this jar right here that will help me trace the circle that the button will be made out of. Okay, so now that you have all of your materials ready and gathered, you're going to take your piece of paper and then whatever you decided, if you decided to use something to help you trace your circle better, you're going to set it down on the page. If you don't have one, then you're just going to freestyle your circle, and you're going to hold it down and take your sharpened pencil and trace around to make your circle. It's not have to be perfect, guys. We accept and love all circles here. So see, it is far from perfect, but we love it anyway. It's going to be beautiful. So then you're going to take your trace circle and your pair of scissors. If your parents don't want you using scissors on your own, make sure that they help you with this part. And you're going to cut out along the lines. And again, the cutting does not have to be perfect. So here we go. And once you have that cut out, you're going to put the paper and the scissors aside because we will not need that anymore. And then you have your circle. And then you're going to take your markers, crayons, colored pencils, anything that you want, any colors that you want, and you're going to start designing little shapes. So I think what I'm going to do is little circles. And I'll see you guys when I'm done with that. Okay, so here is my button so far. I'm just going to add a couple finishing touches up to it. You can design it however you want. You can use stars, hearts, stripes. You can even just have different squiggly lines. Anything that you want, just go for it. It'll be beautiful no matter what. So here's my button. And then what you're going to want to do is, I actually have a Sharpie to show you guys where you're going to want to put these. But we're going to actually, if you know what a button looks like, there's the little crisscross stitch in the middle. And that's really what makes a button when you look at it. So you're going to want to poke a hole with your sharpened pencil right there, right there, right there, and right there. I don't know if you guys can see that very well, but those are those dark spots, and so you're going to take your sharpened pencil, and I'm going to put my pencil against that spot and push through. Make sure that your finger isn't on the other side of these holes, because I don't want you to get poked. And depending on how thick your string is, so my string is pretty thick, so I'm going to have to poke these farther in. But there's another hole right there, right under the first one that I made. And then one right there. And if you guys, I did not decorate the back of mine yet, but if you guys want to decorate the back of yours, I say go for it. It could be same design, different design, anything you want. So there you have your holes. Mine are not perfectly centered. Yours don't have to be perfectly centered. It's going to look like a button no matter what. And then you're going to take your string, or one of your strings, and you're going to first thread it through right here. Oops, no, you're going to want to go through the back side actually. So take this, thread it through there, and then you're going to go to the one diagonal of it, to this spot right there. And my spots, they were not big enough, so that is completely fine if you go back in and make your holes a little bigger. So one right there. And then you're going to pull the one that you pulled through right there. Make it go through here. And then, again, to the one diagonal right here. And see how it has a little cross pattern. And then, to make sure it stays in place, you're going to flip it over. And tie a little knot. If you don't know how to tie a knot, you can always ask your parents for help with this. Or you can even tape it down if you want to. So there it is, the little knot. And then you're going to take the scissors and cut off any excess, but not too short. And there you have it, your little button. But this is for an ornament, so I'm gonna get my Sharpie, gonna show you guys where to put the other dot, but we're gonna put it at the top. I'm gonna put it right here. If you guys can see that, where that black dot is right there. And I'll take my pencil once again against the dot and poke it through. You don't want it to be too close to the top so it goes through the end. And then you're going to take your other piece of string. This is the one it'll make it hang from the branches on your tree. And you're going to poke this through. And again, if you need help tying, ask your parents, but you're going to tie a knot with the two ends of the string right here. That, and voila, you have made your very own button ornament like corduroys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this craft. Let me know how it worked for you guys, maybe in the comments of our YouTube section or our Instagram. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed.